The emergency phase in areas devastated by Super Typhoon Yolanda now shifts from relief to early recovery and reconstruction. Aside from affected families resettling in DPWH-built bunkhouses or rebuilding their homes, they are also being encouraged to take advantage of the Cash for Work or Food for Work programs. This report.
The rehabilitation efforts are in full swing now in the ravaged areas in the Visayas brought by Super Typhoon Yolanda. President Aquino directed the DPWH to start building bank houses for the victims in Tacloban City and other areas in Leyte and Samar provinces.
The transfer of affected families from tents and evacuation centers to temporary bank houses signals the transition from relief to early recovery and reconstruction. As directed by the President, the DPWH began construction of bank houses in identified sites in Tacloban, Palo, and Ormoc in Leyte, and Basay and Marabut in Samar over the weekend. Starting yesterday, construction of bank houses began in Giwan, Hernani, and Borongan.
More than 2,000 families are the beneficiaries in the first phase of the reconstruction efforts. After more than 2 weeks, the victims will be transferred from tents to the bank houses.
At least 2,400 families will be resettled in this first phase. In coordination with the local governments, DPWH has begun site preparation in identified resettlement areas to facilitate transfer to the bank houses to be completed. DPWH is also preparing sufficient stocks of construction materials such as coco lumber, wooden frames, and GI sheet roofing for distribution to thousands of affected families with partially damaged houses so they may return to their homes as soon as possible.
More than 12,000 jobs will be made available for typhoon victims under the Emergency Employment Program. The implementation of the rehabilitation plan to bring normalcy in the affected areas is part of the comprehensive report to be submitted by the task group to President Aquino this week.
As the people of Leyte and Samar begin to resettle and rebuild their homes, they are now being mobilized to participate in the reconstruction efforts under the Cash for Work or Food for Work programs. We wish to clarify that the offer of assistance from the International Labor Organization ILO for Cash for Work programs is in the amount of $300,000, not $300 million as previously announced. Additionally, DOLE is prepared to roll out an emergency employment program involving up to 12,500 jobs, whereby workers may conduct clearing and cleaning activities.
Amidst the transition from relief operations to reconstruction efforts, Coloma reassured typhoon victims of government assistance. Coloma said this in response to Leyte Governor Dominic Petilla's request to extend the delivery of goods until February.
Kakayanin po ng pamahalaan na gampanan ang dapat gampanan nito, para po tiyakin ang tamang pagkalinga at paghatid ng tulong sa ating mga mamamayan. Hindi po papabayaan na magutom sila, hindi po papabayaan na mawalan sila ng sisilungan. Lahat po ng kanilang fundamental na pangailangan ay tutugunan. Kaya lang po, ang ating pong atensyon ay inililipat na sa recovery and rehabilitation and reconstruction efforts. Dahil sapat naman po ang ating batayan para sabihing nag-stabilize na yung relief operations.
Meanwhile, Malacanang is confident that the DSWD is doing their best to extend help for the victims. Secretary Dinky Soloman has been criticized for using voters' lists for relief distributions instead from the NSO.
Kaya sapat po ang aming pagtitiwala na ginagawa ni Secretary Soliman yung nararapat kung ang mapagkakatiwala ang listahan ng mga tao ay yung mismong mga nakatira sa lugar na yon, as evidenced by voters registration. Nakatitiyak din po kami na si Secretary Soliman ay ginagampanan yung kanyang tungkulin sa isang profesional na paraan, wala pong bahid politika.
For the People's Television, Ignacio.